faster do you do that, knowing that you're facing a homecoming this week?
No, we treat every game kind of like its own entity, if you will. We've got to make sure that there's a lot to be learned from yesterday's game. So we have to make sure we celebrate what was up to standard and what wasn't. And there's a lot of good things. The guys played extremely hard, played as a team, like I said yesterday after the game. And so there's a lot to learn from yesterday's game, both in terms of what we need to duplicate and what we need to get better at this week. Yeah, I mean, I acknowledge that they're the next opponent. They're certainly a good opponent. We respect the heck out of every opponent, and Carolina is a talented football team. I really appreciate the time that I spent there. Great people around that organization, and it'll be a huge challenge for us to go down there. It's their home opener, but I also know the work that we've got to put in this week. So that's where my focus really is right now. I don't know. You certainly learn. We learned both a lot from our time in Carolina. Brandon was there a lot longer than I was. I learned a lot myself. Having said that, from Coach Rivera, from Marty Herney, from Dave Gettleman, Danny Morrison, Mr. Richardson, the list really goes on. I learned a lot from my staff who are still there, most of which who are still there. So the players, I learned a lot from the players. So, it's a great organization. They do things the right way. They've won a ton of games. And, they've got a very, very talented football team. And they've added to that through free agency at first glance this year, and that I can tell. And then they had a good, solid draft. So, just a lot of respect for what they do and how they do things. I don't know about that. I just think, look, I'm not out there playing, so that's hard to say an advantage. We've got to put in our time and earn the right to win, in which we plan on doing that. So great lesson learned yesterday. The guys prepared the right way, and when they took the field, they had gone through the process, earned the right to win, and then I thought came out with the right mindset and through all 4 quarters, won a tight football game. That was good. I would start off really, Chris, with missed opportunities in the first half. When you looked at yardage-wise, at least in the first half, offense versus defense, and we had opportunities to put points on the board in the first half, which we didn't capitalize on, which we have to and will do going forward. And then penalties, changing the field position on special teams. We were having the change of possession in one particular situation with punt return, and we had a costly penalty on us, and that changed field position. And then finally, I would say just at the top of my mind right now of the long list is 4-minute offense. As well as we played at times offensively, I thought we could have finished the game off in a more commanding, if you will, approach offensively, and we didn't get that done. So a long list of things. It was. I thought Ramon played well. There's a number of guys that played well, Ramon being one of them. Great effort. Great attitude, and the thing you love about his story is he has been primarily a special teams player, but credit to Ramon and the defensive coaches, Coach Babbage, Coach Frazier, just doing a phenomenal job, and that's part of who we are. We're going to put our players in position to be successful, play to their strengths, and develop our players at the same time. So love when you see a guy with Ramon's history come out at an opener in particular and have the game that he had. So that was I'll start off by saying I thought Marcel played a good game. Defensive tackle is probably the most unselfish, or one of the most unselfish positions on the football field, because just by the nature of the position, usually you're freeing someone else up to make a play, and as you mentioned, Ramon Humber earlier, right? So every time Ramon Humber is free to the ball, something's happening in front of him that's allowing him to be free, and Marcel was doing some of that, and then after that, it's really just about rolling fresh defensive linemen. So I really don't know what went on in the past. I just know what our system calls for, and that's for fresh bodies up front, and that's just a healthy rotation of guys so that they're fresh to rush the passer when we need it, and I thought they did a good job of that. Those guys work extremely hard. You know, Gil Bird, Bobby Babbage do a really good job with those guys, and they were new. It's not like they came from the same place and have played together before. These guys really, you know, this is the first time that they've played together, and Micah and Jordan, and then they've got new guys on both corners, you know, that they've never played with before, and Trey's a rookie. So, you know, it's still a lot to be gained from watching this film, a lot of lessons to be learned. That said, I was proud of the way that they played. We've got 2 key takeaways in the fourth quarter, and we're able to seal the game. So it was fun to watch the rush and the coverage working hand in hand and really complementing one another, and which was the case on the 2 interceptions. Yeah, we were. I mean, again, you know, the combination of LaShawn and Mike Tolbert, I think that was a healthy rep swing, if you will, and LaShawn definitely made some huge plays. I thought, again, our offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage most of the day, and LaShawn just made some incredible, you know, dynamic plays and really gave us a spark. And then Mike would come in and complement LaShawn's style. So that was a good little combination in there working for us. So I was happy with the way both of those players played.